Well, it's sort of rinse and repeat over at Apple, right? Every fall, release a brand new iPhone. It's amazing. Sell tons of them. Next year, do the exact same thing, right? Well, the launch of the iPhones 15 and iPhones 15 Pro not going over as well as usual for the Cupertino company. $2.6 trillion Apple is. And this latest launch, it's got some widespread reports of issues. Overheating, by the way, on the iPhone 15 Pro. Durability and bendability. A phone made of titanium that seems to be just too easy to bend, even with your hands. Oh, and then there's the cases. Apple making a big announcement that they're going to ditch leather, all for the environment, but the replacements are not getting good reviews. Is this a dud? Is it Dudstown for Apple? Let's find out more. Carmi Levy is with us on the line, CTV's tech analyst. Carmi, welcome back.
Great to be here, Elias. Thanks for having me.
So part of the reason, you're on because of this story. There's so many of them happening, but also I kind of feel bad about the last time we were on. We were pressed a little bit for time, and I remember just taking over the interview just to talk about Apple's environmental video, which I hated. So let's put that aside for a moment. Give us the skinny here. Does Apple have a dud of a launch on its hands?
It certainly has some flies in the ointment, and it's certainly wrestling with a greater than usual share of issues at launch. There will always be issues whenever any new product is launched, and Apple is no exception. You think of the complexity that it takes to get not just one phone, but 4 phones produced in millions and then distributed at the same time in secret around the world to millions of stores and millions of consumers via e-commerce. So it is the logistics, the back end. Just my brain hurts thinking of what companies like Apple go through to launch a new product. So there will always be issues here and there, and certainly Apple has had its fair share. We've had Antenna Gate, where if you held the iPhone 4 the wrong way, your calls would drop because they blocked the antenna. We had Bend Gate in 2014 with the iPhone 6, where you could bend it with your hands and it wouldn't go back to flat. Other products have had issues. We've had those terrible keyboards, the butterfly keyboards on MacBooks. So Apple's not immune to this, and it happens. So it's not the fact that it happens, it's how is the company responding to it. So This is a new product. They changed a lot of things on this year's device. Like, it looks like last year's iPhone, but especially for the Pro models, completely new material, titanium, which has some very different properties than the stainless steel that they used previously. And so, throw a new processor in there, which is much more powerful, and suddenly you have the ingredients for potentially some glitches along the way. And Apple, unfortunately, it's not just one thing, it's a number of things. And then they introduced this terrible new case called Fine Woven that I think is going to have its own entry in the dictionary for what not to buy.
Have I won you over? Have I won you over on that portion? Because I remember, I was hammering them that they got rid of the most wonderful material ever, leather, and then said, "Hey, let's use this fine woven material." So, is that the case? Is it as bad as you're saying, Carmi?
Oh, it is. Fine woven is an absolute crash and burn product. I have seen nothing positive about it. I have seen it in store, and the rumors are true. If you kind of run your fingernail across it, you'll create a line, and then you can't buff that out. So it damages incredibly easily. It feels weird. I mean, I realize it's a new product, and I realize that we are going to need to move beyond high carbon footprint solutions like leather. We're going to have, post-consumer recyclable materials in our consumer products, whether we like it or not. And that's what fine woven is. And so I don't begrudge Apple trying to do something different and good for the environment, but to maybe test it a little bit longer, put it in the hands of people once you've built it to ensure that it performs at a level up to your brand, and clearly that's not the case. These things are $79 before tax in Canada. That is the price of a really good OtterBox case that's like armored that I can throw it downstairs and not worry about it. So Apple's charging a premium price for something that is absolutely terrible and needs to fix that as well. So you've certainly won me over because I'm not putting my money there, and I don't know anyone else who would be.
And to me, also, it's a little bit ridiculous to look at something like leather, which is a byproduct of an industry. It's not like Apple was going out and slaughtering cows to make these cases. The cows were going regardless, Carmi.
Yeah.
So I find it so odd that there was this focus of all things to change right here, right now. It's the case. What has there been any response? Because Carmi, you brought up some things like the butterfly keyboards and the iPhone 4. I remember the Steve Jobs apology press conference for iPhone 4. Right? Any response like that from Apple so far?
So far, nothing. But what usually happens first, they deny it. So remember with the antenna gate, Steve Jobs initially said, "You're holding it wrong. You're putting your hand in the wrong place," until they realized that they were wrong, and then they backed off. Same thing with the keyboards on the MacBooks. They initially denied that there was a problem, and in fact, a lot of people had these defective devices, and they did not. They wouldn't repair them, or they would charge you to repair them. And said, "Nope, it's not a warranty issue. Your keyboard is dirty. It's your fault." Eventually, they backed off as well, and they decided to cover the defect and replace the keyboards. So I think that's where we're going to go. Right now, Apple's in the quiet but trying to figure it out stage. And I think at some point there will be an apology, and at some point there will be offers of refunds or simply return the product for something else. Apple always backs down, but they never do it immediately because I think there are so many moving parts here, and they are such a huge global company. They simply can't respond very quickly. They have to take their time.
Is Apple losing focus, Carmi? The reason I point out that stupid 20-minute environmental greenwashing video in their last major event is because, to me, it's a sign of a company that has lost its focus. By the way, the updates, iOS 17 and all that kind of stuff, they're fine updates, but they're just a sort of incremental thing and bug fixing primarily more than reinventing the wheel. And I view those things together and say, is Apple truly the innovator anymore? What say you?
Not based on what we've seen here. This is an evolution, not a revolution. It's a slightly better slab of touchscreen glass. That's about it. And there isn't anything in this year's operating system announcements, phone announcements, watch announcements that suggest anything else. Yes, they say that the Apple Watch is now carbon neutral, and they put that lovely logo on the box. But the reality is a lot of that comes from purchasing carbon offsets, which really Mother Nature doesn't really care about financial transactions. So, I mean, I think Apple was once the company that said, think different. And they're not really thinking different here. And I'm really hoping that, that AR, VR, the Vision Pro headset, I'm hoping that that's where the company goes and is truly innovative. But based on what we're seeing with the iPhone, this is more of the same. And if this is the way they perform year over year, we're going to be having more conversations like this. And I think it opens the door for other companies to compete.
Vision Pro. So I'm looking forward, Carmi, I got to tell you, next year, I'm looking forward to our discussions on this gigantic, heavy glass headset that they believe people are going to wear for more than 10 minutes. I'm going
to need a truck-size delivery of Gravol in order to use it. I'm telling you now.
Yeah. I mean, that whole moment for Apple is going to be so fascinating. Carmi, be well. That was a great time talking to you. You have a great weekend.
Appreciate it, Elias. You as well.
CTV's tech analyst right there, Carmi Levy.